Have you ever felt a chill run down your spine when you're all alone? A sudden drop in temperature, a whisper on the wind, or a shadow moving in the corner of your eye? These are the moments that make us question what lies beyond our understanding. Today, we're not just questioning, we're diving headfirst into the abyss. We're counting down the top 5 scariest real-life ghost encounters ever documented. These aren't just campfire tales. These are stories that have baffled investigators, terrified witnesses, and left a permanent mark on history. Lock your doors, turn on the lights, and prepare yourself. This is going to be a journey into the heart of fear. Coming in at number 5, we have the chilling case of the South Shields poltergeist. Imagine this. It's the summer of 2006 in a quiet English town. A young family, a mother and a son, begin experiencing strange phenomena in their new home. It starts small, toys moving on their own, strange tapping sounds. But soon, it escalates into something truly terrifying. Threatening messages scrawled on a whiteboard, objects flying across rooms with violent force, and the distinct, horrifying sight of shadowy figures lurking in doorways. The family even captured some of this activity on camera. One particularly infamous piece of footage shows a rocking horse swaying violently on its own. Investigators who visited the house reported feeling an oppressive, malevolent energy. What makes this case so scary is the sheer aggression of the entity. It wasn't just making its presence known. It seemed intent on driving the family out, using fear as its primary weapon. They eventually fled the house, leaving their belongings behind, unable to endure the torment any longer. At number 4, we journey to the United States and the infamous Bell witch hunting. This isn't just a ghost story. It's a piece of American folklore that has terrified people for over 200 years. In the early 1800s, the Bell family of Adams, Tennessee, found themselves under siege by an unseen entity. This entity, which later identified itself as the Witch of Cape Bats, a disgruntled former neighbor, was anything but a silent specter. It spoke, it slapped, it pinched, and it tormented the family, focusing its malice on the daughter, Betsy Bell, and her father, John Bell. The entity's voice was heard by dozens of visitors, including future President Andrew Jackson, who, after a terrifying night at the farm, reportedly said he'd rather fight the entire British Army than face the Bell Witch again. The haunting grew so intense and so physically violent that it is believed to be the only case in history where a spirit has been officially credited with causing a person's death. John Bell's health declined rapidly under the witch's torment, and his passing was celebrated by the entity with triumphant singing. The sheer intelligence and cruelty of the Bell Witch make this one of the most disturbing hauntings ever recorded. Cracking our top 3 is a case that has been the subject of books, movies, and countless nightmares: the Enfield poltergeist. In 1977, in a council house in Enfield, North London, single mother Peggy Hodgson and her 4 children became the center of a terrifying paranormal storm. It started with furniture moving on its own and strange knocking sounds. But soon, the activity centered on 11-year-old Jonna Hodgson. She was levitated from her bed, thrown across rooms by an invisible force, and began speaking in a deep, gravelly voice, claiming to be a man named Bill Wilkins who had died in the house years earlier. The events were witnessed by police officers, journalists, and paranormal investigators Maurice Gross and Guy Playfair. They documented over 1,500 different paranormal incidents, including photographic evidence of Jonna seemingly levitating. While some have tried to dismiss evidence of her seemingly levitating as a hoax, the sheer volume of evidence and the number of credible witnesses make the Enfield poltergeist a terrifyingly convincing case of demonic possession and poltergeist activity. The thought of an unseen force targeting a child is a primal fear, and the Enfield case brings this fear to life. Our runner-up at number 2 is The Haunting of the Perron Family, which inspired the movie The Conjuring. In 1971, the Perron family moved into a charming old farmhouse in Harrisville, Rhode Island. But their idyllic dream quickly turned into a living nightmare. The house, they soon learned, had a dark history, presided over by the spirit of a woman named Bathsheba Sherman, a suspected Satanist who had cursed the land in the 19th century. The family experienced years of torment. They saw spirits, some benign, but many others malevolent. They were physically attacked, woke up to the smell of rotting flesh, and lived in a constant state of fear. The children were the primary targets, often seeing an old woman hanging in their closet. The haunting became so severe that they called in renowned paranormal investigators errand. Lorraine Warren, a clairvoyant, immediately sensed a powerful, inhuman presence. The night they performed a seance to try and cleanse the house was so violent and traumatic that the Perron family patriarch, Roger, threw them out, fearing for his family's safety. The Perrons endured the haunting for nearly a decade before they could finally afford to move, but the scars of their time in that house remained forever. Now for the moment you've been waiting for, the number 1 scariest ghost encounter ever documented, the Amityville Horror. In December 1975, the Lutz family moved into their dream home on Ocean Avenue in Amityville, New York. Just 13 months earlier, the house had been the scene of a horrific mass murder. The family knew this but believed they could make it their own. They were wrong. Just 28 days later, they fled the house in terror, leaving all their possessions behind. In that short time, they claimed to have experienced a level of paranormal evil that is almost unimaginable. George Lutz would wake up at 3:15 a.m. every morning, the time of the murders. The house was plagued by swarms of flies in the dead of winter. Strange cold spots, foul odors, and disembodied voices filled the home. Their youngest daughter, Missy, developed an imaginary friend named Jody, a demonic, pig-like creature with glowing red eyes. The entity physically manifested, with green slime oozing from the walls, crucifixes turning upside down, and hidden rooms being discovered. George's personality changed, becoming withdrawn and angry, mirroring the man who committed the murders. The final night was so terrifying, so indescribable, that the family fled for their lives and never returned. While debates about its authenticity continue, the sheer iconic terror of the Amityville story, the idea that a house itself can be possessed by evil, has cemented its place as the ultimate real-life ghost story. There you have it. 5 stories that push the boundaries of belief and remind us that there may be things in this world that we can't explain. Whether you're a skeptic or a believer, you have to admit these accounts are deeply unsettling. What do you think? Which story scared you the most? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this descent into darkness, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more top 5 lists.